welcome back to another video. My name is Paul, hope you're all keeping well. It's been a long bloody time. 9 months. 9 months. The thing is, I lost the mojo to make videos. My intention is always to make them. I think sometimes the longer you leave them, the less chance you got of doing one. So I thought, you know what, I'll pull my fucking finger out and we'll make a video. Just in time for Crimbo. So I want to get a video out now, as I like to do my end of year summary, if you like, of how we are with the collection and where we're going in the future. So I want to try and get that video out. It's usually between Christmas and New Year, sometimes just around New Year really. But yeah, not been up to too much, to be honest with you. I can't say that I have been up to a lot, to be honest, but yeah, the collection's still going well. Nothing's gone this year, which is nice. Apart from a few systems have gone up to Retro Repair Bear for Claire to have a look at. It was a pleasure to meet Ross Sinclair this year. Never met them before, got to be honest with you, but it's really nice to catch up, and I want to try and catch up as soon as I can early next year, and hopefully catch up with some more of the Midlands Massive. A lot of the retro community in the UK is based in the Midlands, isn't it? Not just collectors or YouTubers, but also all the decent shops seem to be up there as well. Don't seem to get a lot down here in the southwest. So yeah, it'd be cool to catch up with those. So some of the systems have gone up there, some of the monitors and stuff like that. So as soon as I get them all back, we'll go through them. But yeah, look forward to that. Soon fill this room back up full of stuff again. At the moment, it's nice to have a little bit of space and a little tree where my FM Towns used to be. My little bird. But yeah, we'll crack on anyway. Specky games. So I've got 14 games to show you. I did have 15 games, but I did a video the first time and it came out all wrong because I got a new phone and the settings were wrong, and when I used the actual film in the editing suite, it didn't like it. So it took about half an hour just to do like 1 minute or something. But I'm not sure what the mode is, HVAC or HEVC, I don't know what the modes are, but whatever it wasn't compatible. So I have to look into that, so I don't want to downgrade my videos because that stupid app don't fucking work properly. Right, so yeah, so in terms of Specky collection this year, I managed to acquire just under 2,000 games. Now I'm not a die-hard Specky collector, even though it doesn't kind of tally into what I've just said really, but there's people out there who have been collecting Spectrum for decades. They collect the weird and wonderful items that I've never even heard of. Games that would have come out in the very early days, probably in trade fairs or mail order, or I don't know, very old cover variants. So I'm not into all that. It's interesting, don't get me wrong, but it's not something that I collect. I kind of focus more on the more commercial side, if you like, from sort of the mid-80s up to the end, about 92, 93. There are older games I've got in the collection, but I'm not that into it like some people. Again, it's probably one of the most difficult sets, if not the most difficult of sets to get a full collection, because not everybody knows exactly what was released. And sometimes I think even collectors who have been collecting for decades still find stuff today. So yeah, we'll just stick with the common stuff, relatively speaking. So first up, I've got a game from a label which my good mate Ash ate one before you've been collecting. Now, I'm not going for this label in the same way as I did with the Hit Squad. These games will be picked up as and when they come up at a reasonable price or in bundles. This particular label I would say is marginally more difficult to pick up for than the Hit Squad. The first game we got is Myth, History in the Making. A game I bought a little while back in its full price big box release, or box release. A game I've never really spent a lot of time on. It's got some decent reviews back in the day. Graphically it looks quite nice, quite similar to a game called Rex, but they're both quite different games. Now you do need to read your instructions for this one. It's not a pick up and play game as such. But yeah, presentation wise is great. So you spend a bit more time playing on it really. Again, Myth is relatively cheap and cheerful to pick up. A lot of these games are, some are a bit more expensive, but yeah. I think the Kicks collection, again, in terms of size, is very similar to the Hit Squad collection. Now, there are some compilations within the Kicks collection. One's like the Gary Lineker's set. Another one is the Action Countdown compilation, which can be quite tricky to find, and were released a little bit later on. But I know some of the later Blue Spine labelled games can go for as much as about 500 quid. I've probably seen a few games this year go for £500 plus on the Sinclair Spectrum, which is mad when you think about it. But like I said, there's probably thousands upon thousands of games on the Spectrum, and a hell of a lot of those are worth a lot of money, if and when you come across them. And next up, we got another game by another publisher, which is quite a famous one. Again, probably another notch again up above Kicks in terms of its difficulty to collect for. Now, this particular publisher does have quite a few box compilations, which came out really late in the 8-bit's life. This game is called Paris to Dakar. I bought this from the only group on Facebook that I'm allowed to reside in, which is called Sinclair Retro Sales. I'll leave a link below. I bought this from a chap called Steph Ratcliffe, who is quite familiar. A familiar name in the Spectrum scene. I can't remember what I paid for this, to be honest. 20, 25 quid, I can't remember. Might have been £30, I don't remember. Now, a lot of the footage I recorded for this a while back. Now, I was supposed to do this video about 2 weeks ago and came down with some kind of funky flu. Felt like my legs had been punched in. It was really bizarre. Then a trip to the dentist, and then like 3 weeks later, I'm able to do a video. So all the gameplay I can't remember, I've got to be honest with you. This is a game I'm familiar with, like Myth, Paris to Dakar. It's a driving game, as that title would suggest. I can't remember if it's any good or not. I think it was okay, but I remember there being a hell of a lot of obstacles in the road to avoid. Bear in mind, you're in the desert, I don't know where all these obstacles come from, but yeah, it's quite a tricky one to pick up on the Spectrum. It's not a rarity or nothing, it's just one of those ones that's a little bit more desirable. And I've got a feeling, and the reason I picked it up, it didn't get an Amstrad release. There's quite a few exclusives on the Commodore 64. And the Amstrad sounds familiar, doesn't it? That's how I started off collecting all the hit squads on different formats. Right, next up we've got a full price game. I believe this was a full price game. Now, I didn't realise the guy who done this game also did a game called Soft and Cuddly. Both horrific looking games with some horrible graphics. Actually very good graphics, they're just a bit like spooky and not spooky, scary. If you was a young kid seeing these graphics for the first time back in the mid 80s, you probably would have been a little bit disturbed. Go to Hell by 666 Software. Yeah, is it a platformer? I don't even know if it's a platformer. I don't think it is. It's a bit mazy though. You're kind of going around a maze, looking out for baddies, making sure they don't touch you. Not really sure what the point of the game is, to be honest. Very similar to Soft and Cuddly though. It's alright from what I've seen of it. It seemed to be a bit easier. Might be because I've seen Soft and Cuddly before and played it for a bit and this is much the same, I don't know. But it seemed to be a bit more forgiving, to be honest. Graphics are interesting though. It's quite a desirable little game. Can go for about 15-20 quid. Unfortunately, I kept the copy that looked the least nicest. My instructions are bloody all crinkled up. One for the ironing board, I think. But yeah, let's go to Hell. The next up, sticking with the kind of creepy theme, is Ollie and Lisa 2 Halloween. Now, there's 3 Ollie and Lisa games as far as I'm aware. One was released by Firebird, one was released by Silverbird, and one was released by Cartoon Time on the Codemasters label. And there's Halloween 2. This ain't a bad little game, one of those kind of arcade adventures. Again, vaguely remember it, you're walking around the house, just activating different doors and stuff, as you do, avoiding the baddies. Graphically it looked okay, but for some reason it's quite desirable. It's the later livery on the Silverbird range. Another set I'm going for. Now Silverbird, Rainbird and Firebird is a big set. Probably what, 180 games roughly? A mixture of full price, a mixture of budget, a mixture of disc games. So yeah, the Silverbird range, that's probably the most expensive game in the range. And it does have the later livery. There's only 2 games on the compilation that look like that. Everything else has that kind of like reddish, pinkish, purpley coloured inlay. Firebird is a huge amount of games on the Firebird label. Loads of full price games, quite hard to find actually. Especially those box games like Costa Capers and Rasputin, Jerry the Germ. And there's other full price games in there like Action Fighter, Flying Shark and Dark Scepter, games like that. So it's a really cool set to go for, but many different types of livery. Then the Rainbow Collection consists of a lot of 128K games and a lot of games on floppy disk only. So games like Jinxter, The Pawn, Carrier Command, I think they're all 128K games. I think the 2 adventure games are both disc only. So a massive set. I think I'm about halfway through the set, but again, it's just like picking away at it as and when. The next game. Now, I'm not sure if this game was taken off the shelves. I can't remember. Obscure. I got it for a tenner. It came up as a bite now, so I snapped it up. Famous franchise, 3D Star Wars. Back in the day when publishers took the piss with certain franchises. Fuck the copyright law, we'll just do our own thing. Hope for the best. Typical British ingenuity. Fuck the rest of them. We'll do what we want. We produced that, 3D Star Wars. Now, as you know, many games of that era were like that. They were rip-offs of other games, but very rarely were they a rip-off, including the name. Can't remember what this plays like, I've got to say. Can't remember at all. Initially I thought it'd be something like, yeah, the official Star Wars games, that sort of thing, but it isn't nothing like it. Very old looking, but again, I don't know if this game ever got taken off the shelves. In fact, I don't even know who the publisher is. I can't even see that with glasses on. Add-on? Don't know. But yeah, pleased to have it because it's one of those games that don't come up very often. Now, it usually can go for about 50-60 quid, I suppose. But yeah, pleased to have that. I like picking up anomalies like that, especially ones that kind of push the boundaries of, I suppose, taking the piss, aren't they? Are taking the piss. And then we got ourselves a couple of disc games. Now, another set I'm going for is the alternative set. I'm very close to completing the alternative set. I'm missing a couple of cardboard compilations. One of them is brutally hard to find. Probably the most difficult compilation to find on that label. Missing one that's, again, not common, but when it comes up it usually sells for 1 or 2 quid. I missed out on both times. I'm missing a Foremost compilation, Foremost Super Sports I think it is, which is probably the more obscure one. A game called Galactic Games, which is just a re-release of the Activision game. Missing a couple of games from the Summit label, one friendly learning game, one again title, and one Screen 7 title. So yeah, really near the end, but those games are proving rather elusive. In terms of difficulty, probably more complicated to get that set than, dare I say it, the Codemaster set. It's difficult. They're quite similar in terms of a lot of games came out really late, but alternative set is bigger. So yeah, they're both quite difficult. So the first one I got was a replacement for one I've already got on +3 disc, and this is Sport Tcular. There's 4 of these disc games. I'm still missing one. They come out in those nice little cases I used to get on the Amstrad CPC. And then this was the one I was missing, a game or compilation called Arcade Extravaganza. I've seen this before. I think this came up with a little bundle, including the +3. So pleased to have that. Again, these came in a different bundle together. 3 games on each disc. This contains BMX Ninja, which is crap, Micro Ball, I never played before, and Eliminator. It's quite kind of a cross between Harrier Attack. No, not Harrier Attack. Space Harrier. And Trailblazer. A bit like that. I quite like it actually. It's best game by far on this little compilation. So yeah, it leaves me with one more, but I can't remember what the other one is called, to be honest. So we've got another compilation. Now, I've got a bit of a thing at the moment for this particular publisher. CRL, Computer Rentals Limited. They were around very early doors, sort of 1981 maybe? I know they made games for the ZX81. They were famous for their early licensed games. But generally the games are quite poor. I only ever owned one, which was Professional Soccer Simulator, which is a great football management game. Played a couple more which I think I had copied, which was Rocky Horror Show, which I completed that game back in the day. And a game called Formula 1, which is quite a good little simulator. So this compilation is called Rod Pike's Horror Compilation. Now, with regards to Dracula, I think it was the first game to be given a age certification by the British Board of Age Certification People. Yeah, first game to get an 18, I believe, in the UK. Not my type of games. These are all text adventures. Graphics on the back look like the Commodore 64, but from what I remember, it's just mostly text. There are obviously graphics in it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have got an 18 certificate. But yeah, this came up. I think I won this at auction for 10 quid. It's only the second game, I think, or second clam case of this size, which came out under the CRL label. The other one being Dracula itself. So yeah, never going to play it, but the CRL collection, like I say, it spans a good, what, 8 or 9 years. Some very obscure games, some very bad games actually. Some of them are really poor, but something draws me to them. I don't know what it is. I really don't, because the games themselves, like I said, aren't great. Now, some of the games contain posters, some contain stickers. It's very difficult to find out what should contain what, to be honest with you. So you do need a bit of research for CRL. So the next game I've got is also a CRL game, but one of the more cheaper ones you can pick up. There's probably at least over a dozen clams on the CRL label. This one is called Endurance, which I think is the unofficial follow-up to Formula 1. So it's just yeah, motorbikes really. I wasn't that keen on this one, to be honest. Formula 1's a really good game, like I said, really good simulator. And this, yeah, I think he's just taken that idea and put it into superbikes. But yeah, graphically and that, it looked quite minimalistic, and plenty of menu screens as you'd expect from a management style sim. But yeah, it probably plays alright. It's got to give it a bit of time really. But from what I remember, Formula 1 has a poster. I don't think Endurance does. Yeah, cheap and cheerful one, that one. I think I got that from the same group I mentioned earlier. Didn't pay a lot for it, maybe 3 quid. Yeah, I can't remember. Then we move into some, well, the only plastic double jewel I got, to be fair. A hero, or superhero, that I don't really know much about, from a comic I don't really know much about. It's a British comic, British superhero, released by Melbourne House. Again, very hit and miss. A couple of the games I loved. Way of the Exploding Fist and Mugsy are 2 games I loved on that label. Game I picked up recently by Melbourne House was never supposed to have been released, so I'll save that for the end of year video. But this one is Judge Dredd. Now again, with this one, graphically the graphics, like I said, quite large, but very cumbersome. I'm not really sure what to do in this game. In fact, I think this game is crap. So I'm not sure why I bought it. I think it was part of a bundle, and I have a tendency to keep stuff like that from bundles, to be honest. It's not something I've ever gone out and bought before. So again, this game can go for like 5-10 quid. I know it's not expensive, but you think how many Spectrum games they are, it all adds up quite quickly. Could do with a new case, to be fair. But yeah, not really sure what to do in this game. Just wandering around platforms, going up and down lifts. That's it, really. Nice artwork though, even though it's black and white. There is another Judge Dredd game, very, very obscure. For a late release, it's one of the rarer releases out there. There's one known copy to exist. Released on floppy disks. The same game that came out in the Amiga and ST. I can't remember what it's actually called. I'm sure it's just Judge Dredd as well. Right, next up we've got some boxed games. First up we've got Ivan Iron Man Stewart Super Off-Road. Top-down driving game. Not really my cup of tea, I've got to say. I bought this and another game. I think I bought 3 games from the same person on eBay about 2 or 3 months ago now. As per usual, just got the bag instructions and cassette. Top-down driving game, same sort of vein as Super Sprint. Obviously, I'm not really a fan of the controls because I don't like isometric games. So it just takes a little bit of time to work out which way to go. These games all kind of control differently. Sometimes you push right and then you turn right and move right. Sometimes you turn right and the car will just turn around and push forward to move. So it can be a bloody bit of a minefield, really. Yeah, quite a desirable game. I know people do rave about this game, especially on the 16-bit machines, but yeah, I think it got re-released under the Tronics label. And the next game I got is very similar, just the graphics are bigger, very similar in vein to, say, Micro Machines or Super Sprint. No, not Super Sprint, I've got small graphics pool. Supercars. That's Hot Rod. Don't like this one at all. It's got a strange mechanic when you're falling behind. It almost like shunts you along. So you'll be up the top of the screen, and it'll shunt you down the bottom of the screen, probably facing the wrong bloody direction. And then it becomes a nightmare then to play it. Because by the time you've worked out how to turn the car around, you're being shunted across the screen again. But yeah, graphics are better, in my opinion, only because they're bigger. And there is another top-down driving game I really want, which is called Action Fighter, part of the Firebird range. And I have a sneaky feeling it might even be the sequel to Spy Hunter. But I might be wrong. Is there a sequel to Spy Hunter? This is Sega. Spy Hunter was Sega, wasn't it? Ivan Iron Man Stewart, is that an arcade game? Yeah, it is. Arcade Smash. Leland. Never heard of Leland Corporation. But yeah, not my favourite genre of games. They once you persevere with them, they are quite good generally. I do like Super Sprint. It just takes a while to get into it again. Right, and we've got a couple of these black cardboard boxes. They're quite desirable items, these. And I come across a lovely bundle where I had loads of these games in lovely condition. So I swapped out all the ones I had. So first up is a game by Odin Software called Nodes of Yesod. I do believe there might be a 128K version of this in a clam case. Because what's the other game called? Nodes of Yesod. There's another Yesod game, isn't there? I forget. It comes with a booklet and a cassette. Very much like the old Ultimate games. Again, this is a nice looking game. Graphics are really nice. You're just kind of going through some caverns. I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do. All I know, the graphics and animations are really nice. You need to have pixel perfect jumping. The baddies get on your tits. And everything looks the same. So yeah. But it does look nice. I can't remember what the other one's called. Nodes of Yesod. Ark of Yesod, I think it is. Maybe that is that a Spectrum game as well. Ark of Yesod. One of them's got a 128K version. They might both have 128K versions. That's another minefield in itself, is looking for 128K versions of games. Next one is the Ultimate game, the final Ultimate cardboard game I needed, which does complete my Ultimate collection. Because I didn't realise the Ultimate Collected Works is actually a US Gold release. Some would say yes, it's part of the Ultimate collection. Some would say no. I still would like it though, especially complete. This is Nightshade. Now, it is in lovely condition. They really are. All of them are in nice condition. Yeah, it's flat chested as you like. But yeah, not a ripple in sight. No undulating features. Just absolutely lovely condition. Now this game, it's about 30 quid nowadays, 35 £30, but to upgrade all of my Ultimate games to look like that, I was chuffed to bits for that. Common as you like these games, let's be fair, they come up a lot. Most of the time they look in average condition. The boxes actually hold up quite nicely. The game itself, I can't remember what it even looks like. Some are isometric, some aren't. I have a feeling this is isometric. There's one. What's one? It's called Underworld. I think that's like a sideways. Almost reminds me of like the Microgen games. Just they look better. Wally Wheat games. I won't do that because that'll fall down. So really pleased to get Nightshade. And the final game to show you is a game called Extreme. Now I've been after this game for bloody ages. This one was probably the most expensive one I bought in this batch. I think this was about £45. I missed out on the floppy disk version for a tenner a couple of years back. It came up and I am denied about it, so I wasn't sure what it was. Now I do remember it being one of the last games to be previewed well, the last Sinclair user that I bought, this was in it being previewed, I think along with like Dan Dare 3. And both games have got some really large, colourful sprites. This was done by Nick Brutti, Dave Parry, and they're responsible for games like Trantor and Smash TV. I'm pretty sure one of the guys who founded Probe. But yeah, it looks fantastic, this game, for a 1991 release. It's quite a short game apparently, and not overly difficult to complete. It's got a really cool beeper chip tune. And you didn't get many beeper chip tunes really in 1991. But I like it. And in fact, all the tunes on all 3 8-bits are quite cool. Even the C64 and Amstrad versions are good tunes. Well, having said that, it's just a beeper chip, so it should be better than that. But it's actually quite good. Yeah, really pleased to have it finally in the collection. Yeah. That's it. So that is all the games I'm going to show you, apart from the one that I dropped and now can't find, which is actually a player's game. Speaking of players' games, I saw a couple of their compilations sell for about 300 quid each. Yeah, so if you're going to go for a player's set and you want to get the +3 discs as well, it goes from like a moderately easy set to collect to fucking nigh on impossible. But yeah, that's it. So I will be back shortly, certainly less than 9 months. Hopefully within the next 7 days really, to do the end of year video and just go through a few highlights really that I've picked up. Across multiple different formats. I'll probably save the ocean games for an ocean video, so I picked up some lovely ocean games for the Amstrad. Various other systems as well, to be fair. A couple of wallets on different systems. Commodore 64 is a couple of wallets I picked up on that because it didn't come out on the Amstrad. BBC Micro may well be the last wallet on that system. But yeah, plenty to go through on there as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys again very soon, I hope. So yeah, thank you very much for watching the video. Thank you very much for subscribing. I do hope you have a fantastic Christmas. I don't see you on the other side. Happy New Year. Happy prosperous New Year, I should say. So take care and bye for now.